and some of them are young brothers. And this, I told them, mashallah, it's a very good feeling. And you can see the tears in their eyes. I said, brother, I'm afraid to lose this. In Ramadan, I had so much. And I said, listen, in the middle of Ramadan, that's why you see people are coming to the masajid and this. It has a positive and a negative aspect. It has a positive and it has a negative aspect. The positive aspect of it, that Allah loves you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful to you. Allah wants to save you from shayateen. He locked them for you. And He allows you to come to the masajid. The Quran is recited. The salat is performed. The masajid, they don't even close their doors. Let's say today you go to the academy, you says, we're a group of people, we want to pray tarawih. You say, you know what? We don't want to see, they call the police on you. That's why I was telling the people, because they close at 7, people will take advantage of the masjid and start sleeping, it will become a shelter. We have experience. But anyway, that's why I was telling the people, when Allah give you this opportunity, why you waste it? Why you waste it? So Allah, there is the positive aspect of it, that Allah is merciful. Allah, He wants you to go to Al-Jannah. Allah yuridu bikum al-yusr. Allah wants to make it easy for you, so He locked everything. The negative aspect, that you did not take advantage of this month. Only few people. And the other aspect of it is, when the people, they come, it's like somebody go to the gym, and the first day he starts, the ulama, they say, the month, remember this, to put you on the right track. From now, start preparing for Ramadan. Now. Because the ulama, they say, I didn't want to say this word in the moment of Ramadan. I said, let the people worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when I see people, they come and they are not ready to pray a long tarawih or maybe long prayers, which is meant to be. It's an exercise for your heart to remove the darkness and to become alive. Although you may feel tired, still, but it's a benefit to remove this arran. بَلْ رَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. Allah said there is arran. Arran is a rust. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he says arran is الذنب بعد الذنب هو arran. A dhanb, which is sin. After a sin, you look here, you do this, you steal, you backbite. The heart is rusted. And you don't see clear anymore. In Ramadan, the more sujood you make, the sajda that you make, it removes that veil. And it could be actually thickness as thick as the mountain between you and hujub of Allah. You don't see nothing. You're just standing right there, dead. Khujubun, Allah mentioned this. They are like trees, like the dead palm tree standing. They may pray, they make sujood. But the more you stay, the more you absorb the Quran, the more you know the meanings. Not only this, that's why we were saying some meanings of the more this rust goes. And the rust, once it goes, so you see more, the ibadah. So the ulama, they say, Ramadan, it's supposed to be, this is the one I didn't mention a lot in the middle of Ramadan. I like the people remove the rust first. But the ulama, they say, Ramadan huwa shahrun li jani thimar, is the month to harvest the fruit that you plant during the year. You want to feel more sweeter and more beneficial. In Ramadan, you have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the year. You have to read the Quran. You have to give charity. Be dutiful to your parent. Be nice. Be good. Pray. Do some rak'ah here, some rak'ah here. Is you plant the seed. And you irrigate them during the year. And then on the month of Ramadan, you harvest the fruit. You feel the sweetness and so on. And some ulama, they say this. They say, I worshipped Allah, I prayed 20 years. One of the ulama, he says, I make salah 20 years. وَتَلَدَّدْتُ فِيهَا, the last 20 years of my life. He says, I struggle to pray and to make sujood and to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for almost 20 years. But I didn't feel the sweetness of it. He says, but I harvest the sweetness and the pain after 20 years later. So you stick around. This is the key. The key is to stay. It's a test. ألا إن سلعة الله غالية ألا إن سلعة الله الجنة. The ulama, this hadith says, ألا إن سلعة الله, the merchandise of Allah, it's so expensive and pressure. ألا إن سلعة الله الجنة. Verily, the merchandise of Allah is al-Jannah. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create this environment for you to worship, and some of the people, they come to a certain degree. 10%, some people 9%, some people didn't even care. And some people actually did the opposite. They did more haram, they did more. Some people, they ask this question. Let's answer this question, mashallah. It's a very good question. It's a good sign. They say, brother, I felt some sweetness in Ramadan. I felt some motivated. But I'm afraid now Ramadan is about to finish. I got this question like 4 or 5 brothers. And some of them are young brothers. And I told them, mashallah, it's a very good feeling. And you can see the tears in their eyes. I said, brother, I'm afraid to lose this. In Ramadan, I had so much. And I said, listen, in the middle of Ramadan, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing for you is charging you. Is charging you. And if you feel that sweetness, what happened actually? Why you feel the sweetness? Remember this قاعدة. قاعدة is إيمانية. يقول العلماء الإيمان يزيد بالطاعة وينقص بالمعاصي. You still can have the same thing outside Ramadan. You still can have the same thing if you know this formula. It's a formula. Al-Iman, it increase with obedience to Allah and will go down with disobeying Allah. The more you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just wallahi, I saw it in my heart. I saw it. One time, I give you just a small example that happened to me. I heard the hadith. I was fascinated with the hadith since I was small. And now I look at the hadith, sahih, and since one time, I was abroad, and I heard this hadith from one book, that if from silat al-rahim to your father, from the sila of the rahim, from connecting with your father, is one of them, hadith sahih, is to connect with the friend of your father. It's also Salat al-Rahim. And I know certain people, they used to be a good friends to my father. My father passed away. He said, what I did, I says, oh, what a beautiful hadith. When I go back home, I'm going to go to street people. And I see how the hadith work. Wallahi, you have to practice this hadith in order to see them, in order to feel them. So I went to this guy, I know him. And he didn't recognize me. I said, Salamu alaikum, Ammu, how are you? He says, wa alaikum salam. He was a barber. He thought I need to cut. I says, you remember me?